Baylor faces Michigan State. Anthony, these are your guys. It's been a tough season for Michigan State. Tyson Walker, I still think, has been very good. The front court for Michigan State has not been fantastic. Still looking for some answers there. I don't understand why Xavier Booker is just sitting on the bench in all these big games. That was one of the guys that I thought was going to be big this season, a big impactful player because Michigan State needed it. But Tom Izzo has just decided to put him on the bench and not really do anything with him. And Matty Sissoko and some of these other guys just aren't getting it done in the front court for Michigan State. So, Anthony, I'm curious, what are your thoughts going in this game against Baylor?
Yeah, so you say Xavier Booker. It's a very polarizing name in the tweets of Michigan State fans these days because it's a clear pointer that, he was given 5 stars after a really good tournament he had over the summer, but there are other flashes where he showed he was not ready. You see him on the floor and you see that he looks not ready. Now, that said, if you don't have any options at center, why not give him some run and let him at least try to figure things out a little bit? That's my 2 cents on it. But I know that he's frustrated. I know that he wants to do better. I know that Izzo's trying, put a lot of puzzle pieces in different places, and nothing's really clicked so far. But I think this game for Michigan State, obviously their seasons looked a little bit different than IU's, but I think it has a similar timbre where it's against a high level opponent it's not at home at the Breslin, but it's in a quasi home environment at Little Caesars in Detroit, against a high level team and an opportunity to put a signature win on their non-conference schedule before they get into the brutal Big Ten play. Even if the Big Ten's down this year, every game's going to be a battle. So, I think this is an opportunity that MSU can't really pass up, to get a signature win, to get them. They're on the outside of the bubble right now. They're not even on the bubble based on what they've done so far. So looking at the numbers, obviously Baylor is humming on offense right now. They're number 2 in the country offensive rating, and they're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the nation. They have Ray J. Dennis, Jaden Nunn, Jacoby Walter are all shooting bonkers numbers. The good news for MSU is typically they're pretty good defensively, even, especially the guards in terms of, containing other teams. So I think, Walker, Akins, Hogard, when they're dialed in, can contain, an elite backcourt. Where MSU struggles is in the paint. Now, Baylor has size, but I would not say the center is necessarily that's not the focus or the feature on their team. Baylor's always had good guards. So I think this matchup is favorable for MSU in terms of their weaknesses are Baylor's weaknesses. So I think this is a game that MSU can come in and be competitive, but it totally depends on what MSU do we see the first 10 minutes of the game, right? If we see an MSU team that comes out flat, uninspired, body language isn't good, this is an ugly game, and MSU dig themselves in a 15-point hole and then has to try to scratch out of it for the rest of the game. We've seen it multiple times this season. What this game is going to come down to, obviously, MSU's 3-point shooting has not been great. So if they can make shots, that will help. The other thing that they have to do is they have to rebound, right? They've not been a good defensive rebounding team. They've let teams destroy them on the offensive boards. Unfortunately for them, this is one place where Baylor is really strong. They're number 6 in the country in offensive rebound percentage. So I don't think that bodes well for Michigan State, giving Baylor lots of second chance points. For that reason alone, I don't think MSU gets it done on Saturday. But I think this is, based on all those other things I said, I think MSU gives them a good fight, but I think ultimately rebounding is going to lose in this game, and they'll be scratching their heads at 4-6 trying to figure things out.
Yeah, it's definitely not been the season that Michigan State fans thought. I do want to give credit to Michigan State because they've not been awful in every single area. They are getting a good amount of fast break points, nearly 15 a game, so that's working well for them. Their defensive rating was higher than I thought it was. That is someplace where they've been able to make things happen, and they're actually turning the ball over at a lower rate than Baylor is. So there are a few things here that Michigan State can look at and really work on and really find some kind of angle to beat Baylor at here. And you're exactly right, Anthony. Baylor's weaknesses do coincide with the Michigan State weaknesses. So if they can lean on their better players, they can find a way to beat Baylor in this one. I kind of am with you. I lean more toward Baylor, but I'm also one of those people that, Tom Izzo can put it together at any point. I know I said in the last two episodes, I don't think Michigan State's even going to make the NCAA tournament, but I just know now that I said that, Tom Izzo is going to figure something out and get these boys rolling, because that's just what Tom Izzo does. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see if they can have that bounce back game, because they've had these opportunities and they just haven't happened yet. But Burke, what are your thoughts?
Speaking to them being able to bounce back, I mean, this is their worst start since the 2003 to 2004 season, which in that season, Michigan State was still able to go 12-4 in the Big Ten, turn it around, and get in as a 7th seed. So, I mean, hey, it's not too late, but it is crucial to get this win in particular. Like, you need a resume builder. You need something that they can point to in that non-conference, and this would be a great help. Now, at like Michigan State's backcourt, that is going to be the bread and butter. That's where the production is going to be coming from. And Baylor has been an NBA guard training ground. So while they do cancel out each other, I just feel like at the end of the day in this one, the front court of Jalen Bridges and Yves Missy for Baylor have given a little more than we've seen out of Mahdi and company. And ultimately, I think it might just be a little too much for the Spartans. But, hey, Walker could show up, go absolutely off, and then Michigan State has that resume builder.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony, at what point does Tom Izzo just say, who cares, and just puts 4 guards out there, or heck, 5 guards out there? I don't know. At some point, does he just say, screw the front court and just go and let the guards work? What do you think?
I've seen the small ball work. What I do know is that when he started 2 centers, it went just about as well as you'd expect it to have gone.
What game was that against?
I don't know why you did that, but it didn't work. That I have a really nice tweet actually about kind of comparing the 2003-4 season to the 23-24 season. There's a lot of parallels between those two teams. If you really dig into it, I won't get into it here for the sake of time, but if you have a chance, I'll throw that up and afterwards. But it's there's a lot there. That team started 5-6, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's similar to the 4 and 5 here. So yeah, like I said, Tom Izzo, he's always able to seem to pull something out of his hat and make something happen. We'll see if he can do it this season. I mean, I go back to the same thing I've gone to. The players just don't look like the players that Tom Izzo's been able to do that with. They don't seem as inspired. They don't seem like they have the motivation there. And at a certain point, like, I know people don't like to hear this because nobody likes to criticize college basketball players, like athletes in general. I get that. They're college players. But at a certain point, like, we have to look at these players and say, like, are you really trying? Like, what are you going to say, Burke?
I just wanted to bounce back on that a little. Like, you say these players don't really look like the players that he can get that out of. These players are the players he got that. He already got this out of them. Like, their last season, the way last season ended for them, that is not how the regular season went for him. Like, he has proven he can do it with these guys, but man, just the way they started this season is something to behold.
Well, he did it with overweight Hogard. He didn't do it with in shape Hogard.
There you go.
I heard Carter Smith say that on the Sleeper Media, and I thought that was so funny. So I'll have to give Carter Smith credit there. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I hear what you're saying. He did it with them before, but at the same time, it's like, are those guys the same guys? I don't know. It'll be interesting. I want Michigan State to be good. Don't get me wrong. I want them to be good because I think that they make the Big Ten better when they're good. And ultimately, I just want the Big Ten to finally do something in the NCAA tournament so we can get that monkey off of our back and people can stop talking about that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So. Listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.